Welcome to Rugby Obsession. You know, if you love all things rugby, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're diving deep today into some exciting news for fans of the British and Irish Lions.
Oh, yeah. The Lions are heading to Australia this summer, and there's some buzz already. It's looking good.
And we wouldn't be doing this without you guys. You sent in the latest updates, and we're here to unpack what it all means.
That's right.
So specifically, we're focusing on that confirmed coaching team.
Yeah.
What does it signal for the upcoming series against the Wallabies? You sent in this BBC Sport article, lots to get into.
Absolutely.
Our mission, as always, is to extract the key insights and give you a clear picture of what's happening.
Let's get into it.
All right, so let's jump straight in. The coaching team's been confirmed, right? Head coach Andy Farrell has spoken. The selections are public.
Yep.
A couple of names that jumped out at me.
Yeah.
We've got John Dalziel, Scotland forwards coach since 2020,
Right.
and Richard Wigglesworth, England senior coach.
Yeah.
Both part of the setup now. And that seems like a great blend of experience from different national sides.
Well, it's really interesting, actually, because building on that, you see a really strong representation from the Ireland coaching staff.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got Simon Easterby. He was interim Ireland head coach involved, along with Andrew Goodman, the attack guru, and John Fogarty, the scrum specialist.
Right. So what? Like, is that going to give them a massive advantage because they've all worked together?
Well, I think, it's not just familiarity.
Right.
It's the fact that this is potentially a winning formula.
Oh, interesting.
They've worked together. They know the players. There's a deep understanding there, and it could be really, really crucial for the Lions.
Okay, so that makes total sense to me. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, okay? For the first time, I think it's the first time since 2001 we haven't got a Welsh coach.
Yeah, first time in over 2 decades.
Wow.
Yeah.
Neil Jenkins?
Yeah.
He was a kicking coach for 4 Lions tours. He's not been selected.
Yeah, he's a bit of a, Lions stalwart.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal, right?
It is a big deal. And I think, beyond the historical aspect of it, it's a break from tradition, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it might spark some debate.
Amongst the fans?
Yeah, amongst fans, maybe even amongst the players, about, the representation of the home nations.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it just sort of shows a different direction that Farrell's taking.
Okay, so talking about people who aren't there, Sean Edwards.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big one, wasn't it?
Big question mark, yeah.
Everyone was thinking he might be involved.
Yeah, well, he and Farrell have history, don't they?
Oh, from their rugby league days, yeah.
Yeah, but he's staying committed to France, and they've got a tour to New Zealand at the same time.
Okay, that makes sense. So back to the guys who are in the team. Farrell has said that he really values the versatility and the interchangeable skill set of this group.
Right.
He actually said that he thinks it's a vital asset and that they've got a fantastic mix of character and personality.
I think it's really insightful that he said that because, the versatility thing is really interesting, isn't it?
Why?
Well, I think what it suggests is he wants coaches who can contribute across different areas.
Oh, right, not just their specialism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So throughout the tour, he's looking for people who can kind of adapt.
Adapt their approach.
Exactly. And I think also this emphasis on character and personality,
Yeah.
creating this really strong and unified environment.
It's a big deal when you're on tour, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. A Lions tour is a pressure cooker.
Yeah, it is. So we've also heard directly from some of the coaches, haven't we?
Yes.
Richard Wigglesworth spoke about being so proud, and he's worked with Farrell before.
Both Saracens and England.
Right, and he's really excited to be, collaborating again.
I think that kind of familiarity and trust that they've already built up is going to be invaluable.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've got a short amount of time. It's high stakes.
Yeah.
You need people who can gel quickly.
Exactly. And John Dalziel, I think he said it was like a huge honor and a pinch yourself moment to be involved.
Yeah, and the other thing that he mentioned was this really positive energy within the coaching group.
That's great.
And I think that kind of enthusiasm is going to be infectious,
Yeah.
And it really contributes to a strong team, a strong ethos.
Okay, so moving on now to the wider support staff.
Okay.
Earlier this year, we had the confirmations of the Welsh strength and conditioning expert Aled Walters
Yep.
and analyst Vinnie Hammond.
Both from the Ireland setup.
Right. And then there's David Nucifora. He's the Lions performance manager. He's now with Scotland, but he spent a decade with Ireland.
It really seems like there's a big influence from the top performing nations in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah, it really does. And what I think is really interesting is the expertise that each of those guys is bringing.
Absolutely. So Walters has got this amazing track record in strength and conditioning. Hammond's bringing the analytical insights.
And then Nucifora's experience in performance management.
And the fact that a lot of them have worked together within the Irish system could lead to, a more streamlined process, clearer communication.
Yeah,
are really, really important stuff.
We also got a little insight into Simon Easterby's thinking.
Yeah.
He said that one of the things that drew him to this role was working with this unique set of players.
I mean, it's the Lions, right?
It is the Lions.
Yeah.
And he said it was a big motivating factor, even though it means he's going to miss Ireland's summer fixtures.
It's a big sacrifice, isn't it?
It is a big sacrifice.
But it's such a huge honor.
I mean, for both players and coaches, this is like the pinnacle.
Absolutely. And I think Easterby really emphasized that it's a unique opportunity for professional growth.
Yeah.
Bringing together the best talent from 4 nations.
Okay, so let's turn our attention to the tour itself.
All right.
We know the playing squad's being announced on 8 May.
Big day.
Big day. Before they head to Australia, they're playing Argentina in Dublin on June 20th.
Ooh, a warm-up match.
A warm-up match. First match in Australia is against Western Force on June 28th.
Okay.
And then the first test against the Wallabies is on 19 July in Brisbane.
Here we go.
Followed by tests in Melbourne and Sydney.
I mean, it's going to be intense.
Yeah. Packed schedule. So we should talk about the Wallabies, right?
Yeah. Well, the Wallabies are currently ranked 8th in the world.
Okay.
So below Ireland, England, Scotland.
Right.
But they did just beat England.
Oh, yeah. That was a good win for them.
And their Super Rugby teams are looking pretty strong this season.
So what are you thinking? Tough series.
I think it's going to be really competitive.
Okay. So we can't underestimate them at all.
No, not at all.
And the fans are clearly ready for this.
Yeah.
Ticket sales are going really well. Over 500,000 fans expected.
Wow.
And the Melbourne test at the MCG, that could break the attendance record for a Lions test.
It's massive, isn't it? The MCG.
Yeah, huge capacity.
The Lions just capture the imagination, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Of rugby supporters. Every time they tour, it's just this massive event.
And Australia always brings the excitement.
Oh, yeah.
So looking ahead a bit, the article mentioned some possible developments.
Okay.
There's this talk about the Lions potentially playing warm-up matches against France.
Oh, interesting.
Leading up to the 2027 and 2029 tours to New Zealand.
That would be a big change.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
I mean, they've only played France once before.
When was that?
1989.
Wow.
So the Lions CEO, Ben Calvely, he didn't actually confirm these France matches, but he talked about building relationships.
With traditional touring nations, but also
broadening that footprint,
Yeah.
New relationships, like with Argentina.
Like the Argentina game and the Japan game.
Yeah, exactly.
So it sounds like they're really trying to, keep the Lions relevant.
I think it's about honoring the traditions,
Yeah.
but also being open to new opportunities.
Modern rugby landscape, yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so there we have it, a deep dive into the confirmed coaching team for the Lions tour to Australia. I think it's super interesting to see the blend of experience, that Irish influence, and of course, that lack of a Welsh coach really adds something, doesn't it?
Yeah, historically.
Historically, yeah. The Wallabies are looking pretty dangerous.
Potentially resurgent, yeah.
But those matches are going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
If you are enjoying this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe to Rugby Obsession. You won't miss any of our analysis.
It's going to be good. This coaching team, I think, has got a lot of pedigree.
Yeah.
And Farrell's got a really clear vision. But the big question is, can they integrate all this talent from the 4 nations and make it work?
Yeah, that's the big question. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the coaching selection? Head over to our social media, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about this lineup.
Yeah, we love hearing your insights. What do you think about their chances against the Wallabies?
Thank you for tuning in to the Rugby Obsession podcast. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world of rugby. We appreciate you listening, and we look forward to catching you in the next episode.
We'll see you then. Thanks for listening.